I believe I was lucky to have Claire. When I first met her, she was still carrying the pain of losing Daniel, her first boyfriend. He had died in a car accident 5 years before I entered her life. She never hid how much she had loved him. I'm not asking you to replace him, she told me before our wedding. I know, I said. I only want to build something with you. She smiled through her tears. You're too good to me. I believed those words for 3 years. Our marriage was not perfect, but I thought it was real. I learned which coffee she liked, which songs made her smile, and when she needed silence instead of advice. Whenever Daniel's name appeared in an old photograph, I looked away. I thought respecting her past was part of loving her. On our 3rd wedding anniversary, Claire said, "Take me somewhere." I looked up from my phone. "Where?" "I'll tell you when we get there." I laughed. "Is this a surprise?" "Something like that." "Should I dress up?" "No. Just drive." I drove for an hour before I recognized the road. "Claire," I said, "where are we going?" She stared through the window. "Just keep driving." A few minutes later, she pointed toward a cemetery. "Here." I stopped the car. "The cemetery?" "Yes." I looked at her. "Why?" She opened the door without answering. I followed her between rows of stones until she stopped. Then I saw the name. Daniel Moore. My chest tightened. "You brought me here?" I asked. Claire knelt before the grave. She touched the stone with fingers. "I'm sorry," she whispered. I stood behind her, unable to move. "Claire." She did not answer. "You could have told me. I needed to come." "Today? On our anniversary?" Her shoulders shook. "I tried to forget him." I swallowed hard. "You don't have to forget him." She turned toward me, tears covering her face. "You don't understand." "Then help me understand." "I loved him." "I know." "No," she whispered. "You don't." I stared at her. She looked back at Daniel's grave as if I were no longer there. "If Daniel were still alive, I would never have married you." The words struck harder than any scream. For a moment, I forgot how to breathe. I forced myself to smile. "That's a painful thing to say. It's the truth." "I thought you loved me." "I do." "Then why bring me here?" "Because I wanted to see him on our anniversary." I looked at the flowers beside the grave. "You planned this?" "Yes." "For us?" She shook her head. "For him." Something inside me cracked. I wanted to ask whether our wedding had meant anything. I wanted to demand why she had chosen me if her heart still belonged to a dead man. Instead, I asked, "Did you ever stop loving him?" Claire lowered her eyes. "No." I nodded. "Then I suppose I was only the man who came after him." She reached for my hand. "I never wanted to hurt you." I pulled my hand back. "You already did." Her face changed. I turned toward the cemetery gate. "Where are you going?" "Home." "Our anniversary dinner?" I looked back at her. "I don't think I can celebrate a marriage that you just told me was never your first choice." She whispered my name. I kept walking. Behind me, Claire began to cry. For 3 years, I had believed I was her husband. Standing beside Daniel's grave, I finally understood that I had always been an outsider in my own marriage. I drove home without saying a word. Claire sat beside me, staring out the window. Neither of us mentioned the cemetery. When we finally entered the house, I closed the door behind us. "Claire," I said. She turned. "Do you still love Daniel?" Her eyes dropped. I waited. "I need you to answer me." "Yes." My chest tightened. She quickly added, "But it's not that simple." "It is simple to me." "You don't understand." "Then explain it." She took a breath. "Marrying you was the right decision." I stared at her. "The right decision?" "Yes." "That sounds like something you say about a job." "I didn't mean it that way." "Then how did you mean it?" Claire rubbed her forehead. "I knew you would give me a good life. You were kind. You cared about me. You made me feel safe. But..." She looked away. My heart never completely accepted that Daniel was gone. I felt something inside me collapse. I laughed quietly. "So for 3 years, I was the right decision." "That's unfair." "Is it?" "Yes." I looked at her. "I changed my entire life for you. I never asked you to. You didn't have to." She frowned. "I turned down that promotion in Chicago because you said you couldn't leave this city." "That was your choice." "Yes. Because I thought we were building a life together." "We are." "No, Claire. You are still living with Daniel." Her face hardened. "Stop making my grief about yourself." I stared at her in disbelief. "Your grief?" "Yes. I spent 3 years loving you while knowing there was another man in your heart. He's dead, and somehow I'm still losing to him." She went silent. I continued. "I never asked you to forget him. I never mocked your memories. I never complained when you visited places connected to him. You're acting like I betrayed you by remembering someone. No, you betrayed me by making me believe I was enough. Claire's eyes filled with tears. I did love you. Past tense. She said nothing. That silence answered me. I nodded slowly. Then we're done. Her expression changed. You don't mean that. I do. You're angry. I'm exhausted. I walked upstairs. Behind me, Claire called. Where are you going? To pack. You're really leaving? Yes. You can't throw away 3 years because of one painful conversation. I stopped at the bedroom door. It wasn't one conversation. It was 3 years of me pretending I wasn't competing with a dead man. She cried. I almost turned around. Almost. But I knew if I stayed, I would spend another year begging for a place in a heart that had already been given away. While Claire slept, I packed my clothes. I placed my shirts into one box and my books into another. Then I removed my wedding ring. I stared at it for a long time. 3 years. 3 years of promises, arguments, laughter, and plans. I placed the ring in a small box. Before leaving, I sat at the kitchen table and wrote a letter. I kept it short. I forgive you, but I cannot keep living as someone's replacement. I placed the letter beside her coffee cup. Then I picked up my bags. At the front door, I looked back once. The house was quiet. I whispered, "Goodbye, Claire." My hand reached for the handle. Then someone knocked. I froze. Another knock followed. 3 slow, heavy knocks. I looked toward the stairs. Claire was still asleep. "Who is it?" I whispered. No answer. The knocking came again. I slowly reached for the door. I opened the door slowly. A man stood outside. He looked tired, pale, and strangely familiar. "Who are you?" He stared at me. "Daniel Reed." For a second, I almost laughed. "That's not funny. I'm not joking." I looked at him again. "You're supposed to be dead." "I know. Then you have the wrong house." He reached into his coat and pulled out an old photograph. I took it. My hands went cold. It showed Claire beside a younger version of the man standing before me. That picture could be fake. He rolled up his sleeve and showed me a scar across his hand. Claire used to call this my lightning mark. My heart stopped. She knew about that. She was there when I got it. I stepped backward. "No." Daniel lowered his voice. "I survived the crash. But your grave. Someone made sure everyone believed I died." "Why?" "Because someone wanted me gone." I shook my head. "This is impossible." Daniel looked directly at me. "Claire has a small scar beneath her left eyebrow. She got it when she was 11 because she climbed through my bedroom window and fell." I stared at him. "She never told me that." "She wouldn't." He continued. "When she was scared as a child, she used to count backward from 20. She still does it." My stomach tightened. I remembered seeing Claire do that countless times. "You've been watching her." "No. I've been trying to reach her." "What do you mean?" "She has been receiving my messages for months." I felt my anger return. "Months?" "Yes." "And she never told me?" "No." I laughed bitterly. "Of course she didn't." Daniel frowned. "What happened?" "She took me to your grave today." His face changed. "Your anniversary?" "Yes." "Why would she do that?" "She cried over you. Then she told me that if you were alive, she would never have married me." Daniel looked shocked. "She said that?" "Exactly." He lowered his eyes. "I'm sorry." I clenched my fists. "Don't apologize to me. You're the man she wanted." "That isn't what I came back for." "Then why are you here?" "Because I found out the crash wasn't an accident." I went silent. "What are you saying?" "Someone tampered with my car." My throat tightened. "Who?" "I don't know yet." "Then why involve Claire?" "Because she knows something." I stared at him. "You think Claire tried to kill you?" "No." "Then what?" "I think she discovered something before I disappeared." "Why didn't she tell me?" Daniel sighed. "Maybe she was afraid." "Afraid of what?" "Of the person behind the accident." I looked toward the stairs. Claire was still asleep upstairs. For 3 years, I had believed I knew my wife. Now a dead man stood at my door, telling me she had been hiding messages from him. I looked back at Daniel. "If you're really alive, why did she let me believe you were dead?" He met my eyes. "That's what I intend to find out." I opened the door wider. "Then you'd better start talking." Daniel stepped inside. And for the first time that night, I realized my marriage might not have been destroyed by a dead man. It might have been destroyed by the truth. I swallowed hard. "If Claire knew you were alive, everything she told me was a lie." Daniel shook his head. "Maybe not everything." "What does that mean?" "It means you should be careful about who you trust." I looked at the bedroom again. "Especially Claire?" "Especially everyone." I hated that answer. But I knew he was right tonight too. I walked upstairs with Daniel behind me. Claire was still sitting on the bed when I entered. She looked at me. Then she saw him. The color drained from her face. Daniel. He nodded. Hello, Claire. She stood but did not move toward him. I watched her carefully. You knew? I said. Claire looked at me. I can explain. Start with the truth. She swallowed. I found out 6 months ago. My hands tightened. 6 months. Yes. You knew Daniel was alive for 6 months? I was afraid. Afraid of what? Everything. I laughed bitterly. You let me believe he was dead. I didn't know how to tell you. You could have started with, my dead boyfriend is actually alive. Please. No. You owe me the truth. Claire wiped her tears. Daniel contacted me 6 months ago. Daniel interrupted. I sent her proof. Claire nodded. I knew it was him. And you kept talking to him? Yes. How often? Sometimes every few days. I stared at her. Did you betray me physically? No. Then why hide him? Because I wanted answers. Answers. I wanted to know why he disappeared. I wanted to know who caused the accident. I looked at Daniel. And you never told me? Claire shook her head. I was scared you would get involved. I was your husband. I know. Her voice broke. I was trying to protect you. I stepped closer. Then why take me to his grave today? She looked down. I thought I could finally say goodbye. To him. Yes. While I stood beside you. I didn't know how to face you. I felt anger burning through me. You made me feel like a replacement. I know. You told me you would never have married me if you were alive. Tears rolled down her cheeks. I said it because I was confused. No. You said it because you meant it. Daniel suddenly spoke. She wasn't the reason I stayed hidden. I turned toward him. Then explain. He looked at Claire. Tell him. Claire hesitated. My father had powerful enemies, she said. Who? I never knew all their names. Daniel answered. They wanted my father's company. I frowned. And after the accident, they thought I was dead. So you stayed hidden. Yes. Claire continued. Daniel contacted me because he needed help disappearing completely. I stared at her. You helped him? Yes. Why? Because I believed someone was trying to kill him. I looked between them. For a moment, my anger weakened. I understood fear. But understanding did not erase the lies. Daniel reached into his bag. There's something else. He handed me a folder. What is this? Evidence. I opened it. Inside were copies of financial records, accident reports, and company documents. I frowned. What am I looking at? Daniel pointed to a name. This company paid someone connected to the crash. My eyes stopped on the familiar logo. My company. No. I checked the document again. This could be forged. I thought so too. Then why bring it to me? Because I found the original payment trail. I looked at the date. It was 5 years ago. My breathing became shallow. Who approved this? Daniel pointed to a signature. I recognized it immediately. My boss. The man who had personally hired me. Claire stepped closer. What is it? I looked at her. I don't know yet. Daniel's voice became quiet. But someone inside your company may have arranged my death. I closed the folder. 3 hours earlier, I had been ready to leave my marriage. Now I was standing between a woman who had lied to me and a man who was supposed to be dead. And somehow, both were connected to a secret inside my own company. I looked at Claire. Why do I feel like this is only the beginning? She whispered, because it is. I spent the next morning pretending nothing had changed. At breakfast, Claire asked, Are you still leaving? I don't know. That means yes. It means I have questions. She lowered her eyes. About Marcus? I looked at her sharply. How do you know his name? Daniel told me. I stood. I need to work. At the office, I acted normal. Marcus smiled when he saw me. Big night. Just tired. You should take a vacation. Maybe. I walked away before he could ask more. My closest friend, Ryan, met me in the records room that afternoon. You look terrible, he said. I found something. What? Marcus may be involved in Daniel's accident. Ryan's smile disappeared. Are you serious? I need proof. We spent hours checking old accounts. Then Ryan whispered, Look at this. I leaned over his computer. What am I seeing? Payments made to 3 shell companies. When? 2 weeks before Daniel's accident. He opened another file. Fake contracts. With whom? Companies that don't even exist. My stomach tightened. Follow the money. Ryan clicked through several records. Here. I stared at the screen. Marcus. He approved the transfers. Keep going. We found more payments dated the week Daniel disappeared. Then Ryan opened an older file. This one is from 5 years ago. I read the notes. My father's name appeared repeatedly. What? Ryan looked at me. Your father investigated Marcus? I swallowed. He confronted him about missing funds. Did you know? No. Ryan opened another document. My father wrote that Marcus was hiding illegal deals through the company. I felt cold. What happened after that? Ryan hesitated. Your father died 3 months later. I stared at the screen. My father's death was ruled an accident. Ryan whispered. Do you believe that now? I closed the file. I don't know what to believe. That evening, Claire came to my apartment. I want to help. I don't trust you. I understand. No, you don't. She stepped closer. I never stopped caring about you. I looked at her. Caring about me isn't the same as choosing me. Her eyes filled with tears. I know. You chose secrets. I chose answers. And now I want to make things right. I turned away. I don't know if that's possible. Daniel arrived later. He listened silently while I explained what we found. You suspected Marcus? I asked. Yes. Then why didn't you tell me? I needed evidence. And what do you want now? Daniel's jaw tightened. Revenge. I studied him. You came back for revenge. Partly. That could get us killed. I know. Claire looked between us. Then what are we supposed to do? I answered, find the truth. Daniel shook his head. I want justice. Claire whispered, I want redemption. I looked at both of them. And I want the truth. For the first time, I understood how different our goals were. Daniel wanted to punish the people who destroyed his life. Claire wanted to repair what she had destroyed in mine. And I wanted to know whether the same man who stole Daniel's future had also taken my father from me. I picked up the folder. Then we start with Marcus. Daniel nodded. Claire wiped her tears. None of us knew who would survive the truth. Whatever we find, I said, we cannot warn Marcus. Ryan nodded. If he is guilty, he will destroy the evidence. Exactly. Claire looked frightened. Then what about you? I'll keep pretending I know nothing. Daniel smiled. Good. Let him believe he is safe. For once, I want the person lying to us to feel afraid tonight. The recording changed everything. Ryan played it twice. Marcus's voice came clearly through the speakers. Transfer the money before anyone checks the account. Another voice asked, and Daniel? Marcus answered, he won't be coming back. I stared at the screen. That's enough. Ryan nodded. Enough to destroy him. I shook my head. Not yet. Why? Because we need everything. For the next 2 days, I secretly collected documents, recordings, contracts, and payment records. Marcus noticed something was wrong. One evening, he called me into his office. You've been asking questions. I smiled. I'm doing my job. You should stop. Why? He leaned closer. Because I can destroy your reputation. I stayed silent. You think people will believe you? I think evidence speaks for itself. Marcus laughed. You're smarter than I thought. Then you know I won't sell. He stared at me. Sell the company to me, and you walk away rich. No. You'll regret that. I already regret trusting you. His expression hardened. You have no idea who you're dealing with. I stood. Maybe I finally do. Outside, Daniel was waiting. We should expose him now. No. Why? Because revenge isn't justice. Daniel clenched his fists. He killed my life. And if you attack him, he wins. Daniel looked away. I understood his anger. I felt it too. But I refused to become like Marcus. That night, Claire called. I found something. Where? Marcus's private office. My heart jumped. Claire, leave. I can get the file. Don't. I know where he keeps it. Before I could answer, the call ended. 20 minutes later, my phone rang again. Claire whispered, he's here. Where? I'm trapped. I grabbed my jacket. Stay where you are. When I reached the office building, I heard shouting upstairs. I ran toward the private office. Marcus stood near the door. Claire was backed against the wall. You stole from me, he said. I took what belonged to the truth. Marcus raised his hand. I stepped between them. Touch her, and you'll answer to me. He stared at me. You still care about her? I didn't answer. Marcus walked away. Claire looked at me. Why did you come? Because you needed help. After everything I did? Yes. Why? I looked into her eyes. Because loving someone doesn't mean I have to stay with them. Her eyes filled with tears. I don't deserve you. Maybe not. She lowered her head. But I still owe you the truth. She handed me the stolen file. Inside were records connecting Marcus directly to the accident. Ryan checked everything. Daniel found another recording. We finally had enough. I called the police. We have evidence against Marcus. How soon can you send it? Immediately. I looked at Daniel. It's over. He smiled faintly. Not yet. The lights suddenly went out. I heard a crash. Daniel. No answer. Daniel. I ran toward the hallway. The emergency lights came on. He was gone. A broken window stood open. Claire covered her mouth. He took him. I looked outside. A black vehicle disappeared into the darkness. Marcus had discovered everything. I called the police again. Marcus has Daniel. Do you know where he went? No. I clenched my fists. For one terrible moment, revenge returned to my mind. Then I remembered my promise. I would not become Marcus. I would bring Daniel home alive. And I would make sure Marcus faced justice, even if I had to risk everything to do it. I drove toward the abandoned warehouse with the evidence beside me. Marcus had ordered me to come alone. He expected fear. Instead, before leaving, I sent copies of every file to Ryan. Track my phone, I told him. I will. And send everything to the police. You're sure? Yes. If Marcus sees you. I know. I ended the call. When I entered the warehouse, Marcus stood beside Daniel. Daniel's hands were tied. Marcus smiled. You actually came. Let him go. First, give me the evidence. I held up the folder. You want this? More than you know. Why? Marcus laughed. Because Daniel discovered my financial crimes. Daniel glared at him. You destroyed my life. I protected my business. You caused the crash. Marcus shrugged. You were supposed to die. My blood ran cold. You admit it? I have nothing to fear anymore. I stepped closer. And my father? Marcus smiled. He became a problem too. My fists tightened. You killed my father. He tried to expose me. You murdered him. I removed an obstacle. Daniel shouted. You ruined everything. Marcus looked at him. Money solves everything. No, I said. He turned toward me. Young men like you always think morality matters. It does. You could be rich. I don't want your money. You could own half this city. I'd rather lose everything than become you. His smile disappeared. Give me the folder. No. Marcus pulled out a gun. Daniel shouted, Don't. Marcus pointed it at me. You have no idea what I'm willing to do. I looked directly at him. You already told me. He rushed forward. I moved aside. The folder fell. We struggled. Daniel kicked the weapon away. Marcus grabbed me and slammed me against a table. You should have taken the deal. I pushed him back. I'm not you. Suddenly, sirens filled the warehouse. Marcus froze. Police officers rushed inside. Drop your hands. Marcus looked toward the exit. There was nowhere to run. They arrested him. Daniel was freed moments later. I helped him stand. You okay? He nodded. I am now. Outside, I finally breathed. For the first time in years, the truth was no longer buried. Marcus was arrested. My father's name would finally be cleared. Daniel had survived. But my marriage was already gone. Later, I stood outside the hospital. Claire walked toward me. Can we talk? I nodded. She stopped several feet away. I'm sorry. I waited. I'm not asking you to come back. That surprised me. She continued. I finally understand something. What? Regret doesn't repair everything. I looked at her. No, it doesn't. I hurt you. Yes. I should have told you about Daniel. Yes. I should have chosen honesty. Yes. She wiped her tears. I still care about you. I gave a small smile. I know. Can you forgive me? I looked toward the hospital windows. Yes. Her eyes filled with tears. Thank you. But I'm still leaving. She nodded slowly. I understand. For once, she didn't ask me to stay. I turned toward the parking lot. Goodbye, Claire. Goodbye. I walked away. This time, I wasn't running from my marriage. I was choosing myself. And for the first time in years, that choice did not feel selfish. It felt like freedom. I told Claire the truth before I left. I probably would have loved you forever if you had chosen me freely. She looked at me quietly. But you didn't, I continued. And I can't spend my life wondering whether I was always your second choice. I understand. I hope you do. I do now. Months passed. Marcus was sentenced after the evidence exposed his crimes. The court uncovered his hidden accounts, fake contracts, and the truth about the accident. My father's death was reopened too. Daniel began rebuilding his life. He never returned to Claire. One evening, I asked him, Do you still love her? He shook his head. I love the person she was when we were young. But I need to become someone new. I understand. What about you? I'm learning how to do the same. Claire moved away soon afterward. She started working with a charity that helped families affected by violent crime. I heard about it through Ryan. She really changed, he told me. Maybe. Do you regret leaving? I thought for a moment. No. I focused on rebuilding my company and, more importantly, rebuilding myself. For years, I had measured my worth by how much I could give Claire. Now I was learning who I was without her. 1 year after the night at the cemetery, I returned there alone. I stood before Daniel's grave. I didn't feel jealousy. I didn't feel anger. I understood. That grave had never really been about a dead man. It had been about the part of Claire's heart I could never possess. I placed a bouquet of flowers beside the stone. I don't hate you, I whispered. The word surprised me. You were never my enemy. I looked at the name carved into the stone. You were just someone she never stopped loving. Then I stepped back. For the first time, I felt no need to compete with the past. I turned around, and I walked away without looking back. A few weeks later, Claire sent me one final letter. I opened it at my desk. She wrote that she finally understood the difference between loving someone and being afraid to lose them. She admitted that she had confused grief, guilt, and love. She also wrote, I finally understand that loving you should never have meant asking you to live beside someone who was always in my heart. I read the letter twice. Then I called her. She answered immediately. Hello. I got your letter. I'm sorry. I know. Do you hate me? No. Do you forgive me? I looked through the window at the city I had rebuilt my life in. Yes. She became silent. Completely. Completely. She cried softly. Thank you. I closed my eyes. But I'm not coming back. I know. I hope you find peace. I hope you do too. We ended the call. I placed her letter in a drawer. Not because I wanted to keep our marriage alive. Because it belonged to my past. I had once believed love meant staying no matter how much it hurt. Now I knew better. Love could be real and still end. Forgiveness could be complete without reconciliation. And leaving did not mean I had lost. Sometimes, walking away was the first time I had chosen myself.